Hey, check out this cool feature in Next.js 14. We can write client components that render interactive parts of our website right on the user's browser. Here's a simple one. It's a page with a welcome message and a button. When you click the button, it uses Next.js's use router hook to navigate to an interactive page. It's all dynamic and super smooth because it doesn't have to reload the whole page. We're gonna have so much fun building snappy interfaces with this. Imagine you want some part of your website to only run on someone's computer, not on the server where your website lives. In Next.js, we do that by adding a little magic line called useClient. Here's a piece of code with that magic line. This makes sure that everything in this box will only come to life when someone visits your website. It's like drawing a line in the sand, saying, hey, this is for your eyes only when you're on the site. Cool, right? When Next.js serves up your page initially, it sends out static HTML to ensure things load quickly. Let's say you have a client component that should only kick in after the full page is there. This bit of code we're looking at takes advantage of the use router hook from Next.js. It checks if the routing system is ready using router is ready, and only then, it renders your component's content. Before that, users get a friendly loading message. This way, your interactive parts wait patiently for their turn, keeping your initial load snappy. Picture this. You've just landed on a website, and at first glance, everything's static, like a photograph. But then behind the scenes, magic happens. React begins the hydration process, bringing that snapshot to life. For instance, look at my component here. Initially, it's just part of the server-rendered page. But once the hydration process starts, that Click Me button suddenly comes alive. Click it, and bam, you've got an alert box popping up. It's the moment static meets interactive. It's when the page truly becomes a part of the web experience. Check out how this user profile component works. It utilizes the use app router hook to handle client-side navigation smoothly. Initially, when the page loads, the useState hook sets the user data to null. Once the router is ready and there's no user data, the fetchUser function calls our API to grab the user info. If we've got the user data, it displays a personalized greeting. Otherwise, it shows a loading message. Pretty nifty for keeping things dynamic without needing to refresh the page. Just like mixing up ingredients for a perfect recipe, you can blend server and client components in your app for a more dynamic experience. This code here demonstrates exactly that. As soon as a user hits the dashboard path, the app dynamically imports the dashboard component right from the server, creating an efficient, on-demand load. For the root path, it serves up a simple welcome message using a lightweight client component. It's like getting the best of both worlds for speed and functionality. Alright, we've got a component that gets its data from the router's query string. If data exists, we parse it and display its message. If not, we just say no data is passed. It's a handy way to pass server-side data to the client, but remember, data has to be serializable to make the round trip from the server to the client without getting lost in translation. Always check if that JSON is in good shape before parsing it. You don't want to run into any pesky parsing errors. Imagine navigating a huge mall. You want to enter through the closest door to your favorite store, right? In the same way, we're setting up use client entry points in our components, guiding users on a smooth path through our app. This bit of code lets us load only the client-side component we need, based on the URL. It's like if the router says, hey, we're heading to the shoe store, it pulls in the right client component for a strut, avoiding the unnecessary load of the whole mall. In the world of web development, getting your pages noticed by search engines and easily shareable on social platforms is super critical. This code snippet does exactly that for a product page. It uses the head component from Next.js to set up meta tags with all the necessary details like product name, description, and even a captivating image. By doing this, the page becomes a superstar, ready to shine on search results and social feeds, attracting clicks and eyes with its well-crafted SEO attributes. Check out how we can make our UI more interactive by switching from server rendering to client rendering. This React component, dynamic component, fetches data from an API on the client side when it's rendered in the browser. It uses the useEffect hook to fetch the data after the component mounts, and stores it in the local state using useState. If the data hasn't loaded yet, it'll show a loading message. Once the data is there, it displays the content. Pretty smooth, right?